Jagex has just released the third video for sailing, which is about the rewards and the sailing reward space. My opinion on sailing has been pretty open-minded since these videos have come out and I've been watching them. Sailing was my last choice, for those who are unaware. Of the three skills, I still am not the biggest fan of the idea of sailing, but I think what Jagex has shown so far is quite promising for a new skill. I think they're handling it well. I'm not super confident in the Runescape community about taking this skill seriously though, so we're just going to roll with it. We'll see what this video has to offer for the rewards, and yeah, let me know if it's too quiet and I'll turn it up for you guys.
Hello there.
Hello.
And welcome to part 3 of the Sailing Developer Blog. I'm your host Gnome, and today you'll be diving into the rewards from the sailing skill, should it pass the final lock-in poll. If you haven't
that's important to remember, guys. Whatever's being shown here, this isn't guaranteed, this isn't set in stone, this is all provided the polls pass. Same for the past two videos, same for the next video that's going to come out after this, which I think is to do with like law and integration. So don't, get your knickers in a twist if you're upset about what you see. This is provided it passes the poll, and even if you don't like sailing or sailing wasn't your choice, I do encourage you just to look at it with an open mind and just think, is it just good content subjectively? Is it fun? Is it something you'd want in the game?
Ready, go check out part 1, Navigation, where we cover what it looks like to be on and sail your ship, as well as part 2 on gameplay, discussing how the skill is structured and what activities will be on offer. But let's focus on rewards. What do players get from training sailing? How will the skill integrate and work with your other currently existing skills? And what purpose does sailing serve?
Max cape looks good. Sorry, the sailing max cape looks good. Skill cape. I like the colors. I like the shades. And I think rewards is a very important part for the skill to succeed. It needs to be profitable. It needs to be a fun reward, something that makes you feel good. It does, like tie farming is a bit rough, right? For example, that's something where the rewards suck, and because of that, the minigame sucks regardless. And you also want to have decent XP rates. By decent XP rates, I think this might be overkill. But I think Wintertot XP rates are the absolute top end of what you should expect in a new skill. I think that just makes the skill a success straight off the bat, right? But you don't have to go as hard as Wintertot, maybe slightly less. But say by the time you hit 50 plus sailing, there should be a consistent method that's engaging, fun, and you're looking at 200k XP an hour consistently. I know that sounds like you might do the skill too quickly, but guess what? Why don't we like agility? Because running rooftops gives you no XP and it's boring as shit. Why don't we like thieving? Well, thieving gives a lot of XP, but it's boring as shit while you sit there clicking. Why don't we like fishing? Because fishing is it's boring as shit, right? Yeah, it's cool, it's AFK, that's good. But if you want to be Sepulchre though, Sepulchre's great. But Sepulchre would be even better if it had more XP. And Sepulchre, if you're not 82 agility, there's not really much point doing it, right? It's not entirely worth doing the first 3 floors. You want to do at least floor 4 for Sepulchre to be worth your time. So you're doing rooftops. You have to do rooftops for Graceful anyway. It's just not fun enough for it to be engaging, in my opinion. Mahogany Homes is a great way to level construction. 130k XP an hour with teak planks. It's perfect. It's excellent. Those are just some examples.
As a skill, sailing should feature both a satisfying internal progression scheme while interconnecting with and supporting other skills. With the ability to access and traverse the entire ocean, we'll be able to explore a huge design space for rewards to fulfill these requirements. This design space is broken down into 2 categories: points of interest, which are in-world features made available at the right level, quest, or facility requirements, and activity-specific rewards. These rewards depend on the sailing activity you're doing. Do you know that many of the rewards mentioned here won't be discussed in deep detail and should be treated as examples rather than definitive release-ready content?
That's important to remember.
Specific items and stats will be looked into more fully with the community if formal development proceeds. But let's start with points of interest. Sailing is all about discovery. Discovering untamed islands, harvesting and utilizing new resources, crossing paths with lost peoples and cultures, and slaying exotic monsters. All of these can be found at points of interest, which include any feature accessible by sea, from whirling maelstroms, to colorful coral reefs, to new volcanic islands.
I think this is a given, like you should expect this with the theme of sailing. So there's no shock having this sort of content proposed. And I don't think there's barely any negatives to this. Now, people might be like, well, that's just sailing, Sea of Thieves, whatever ignorant argument you want to make. But I think the fact that they can have points of interest with sailing does open the opportunity for limitless opportunities on what sort of content you can get. The videos are so well done. They are. The videos are done beautifully. I reckon they're well put together. What was the necklace? Don't know. You'll find out once they go into more detail on it if it gets passed. But that's just an example. Remember, look at this as an example. So I think the points of interest is going to be always a fat W for sailing no matter what, because while the skill might come out with maybe 3 or 4 new islands, we can always add to that. We can always pitch ideas. Jagex can always propose new ideas for new islands and new ways to play the game through sailing. So I think that's just something that is always going to be a benefit from sailing no matter what. You're going to have points of interest that will just consistently build up and benefit this skill, or benefit from this skill at least. The game will benefit from it.
There's no limit to what a point of interest might look like, so each should give a different experience and therefore offer unique, tailor-made rewards. An example of a potential point of interest is the Great Conch, a hidden island inhabited by turtle folk, a humanoid turtle people. To unlock it, you'll need 36 sailing to get a special port task to investigate.
This is just an example, by the way, so don't take this and run with it like, oh, I want 36 sailing. They're really trying to sell sailing with the animation. That's the point, I think. Like, if they weren't doing animations and trying to sell you it and trying to really make the skill look appealing, then they wouldn't be doing their job. I think that's the point. I would rather than try to sell it with animations than just like, oh, here's sailing and here's a blog. The videos are way better than reading a blog, always.
Get a shipwreck near Corsair Cove, only to find Flupa, one of the turtle folk who's injured. Helping her in her quest to return home and restore her village unlocks the Great Conch as a new explorable area, where you'll find new resources like rosewood trees, which are used to upgrade your ship's mast and hull,
cool.
The Griffin as a new slayer monster, and the ability to learn a novel, engaging fletching technique from the turtle folk that provides a bow fletching alternative to spamming darts. But of course,
a bow fletching alternative to spamming darts. So instead of getting carpal tunnel through darts, you can get it through bows. Yep.
This is only one possible example of a new island. Ideally, sailing should come with a collection of points of interest that are mixed from small to large and simple to complex. But the focus of development...
See, at the same time, this might be a bit of a hot take, but at the same time, this does look incredibly overwhelming. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, but there's a lot here for you to go, what the fuck is going on? What is being added to the game? Where do you start? What do you do? There's so much content here. It just looks like you don't want it to be messy. Sometimes too much is a bad thing. So I think obviously this is an example again. I think I saw someone make something similar to this on Twitter, but there's just so much that can be done that I think, yeah, maybe it is possible for there to be too much sometimes. This is not a new skill. This is a WoW expansion. Well, that's what's going to come with something like sailing, right? Like, because the core concept of sailing, you're going to open up so much world with this skill no matter what. So you're going to get big expansions. When do we get to how sailing is actually trained? I think that was mostly in the last... there were examples in the last video at least. Don't want it too big, but also want sailing to be confined to just one area. Or I think what needs to be important here is a lot of people go, we don't need sailing because we have teleports. Sailing needs to be looked at a skill. You're not using sailing to travel around, right? You're not using sailing to try and get from point A to point B as fast as possible. You're using sailing to explore, I guess, go from point A to point B, but during that journey, you want to skill, you want to gather resources, you want to maybe train hunter on the way there, or you want to go on the way there, go underwater and do some diving to collect your seaweed or collect your certain ores or whatever they have underwater, fight something on the way there. So it's less about, I need to get to Port Fatimus to do my farm run, and it's like, I'm going to go to the Shadow Reef, but I need to do my farm run that's on the way there, and there's 3 different farm patches or something. Like, it needs to be less about just, I can just teleport there, and more about what can I benefit from going there on the way and then getting there. So it feels like there's a lot of content that's got to be filled in between, but that's how it has to be looked at the end of the day. It's an entire game expansion. Yeah, it's going to come with a lot of big content, yes. But that's why my original opinion is that sailing shouldn't be a skill. It should be It should be its own core concept. Like, for example, you open up your little tab down the bottom right here, and you have combat tasks, you have collection logs, or you have a fifth tab up here, right? Just like current favor, and then you have like whatever going on here. You open up your tasks, and you just have different boats, different islands you've explored, which ones you've explored, how you can explore them, what you need to explore. You have to unlock this boat by doing this content, and you can progress it and travel through it any way that you want. And that way it's not locked to a level, it's not locked to a skill, it's its own content, its own expansion. But I don't think it's a bad I think that's the better way to do it in my opinion, but if they execute it properly, it's not going to be a problem in this way, let's be honest. It's like if they made Zaire the expansion, the Zaire expansion a skill. Yes, essentially, but Zaire doesn't really have a moral theme other than, like, I don't know, diplomacy between 4 half-wits or some shit. I don't know what the story is there. I still don't get it. I'm keeping my expectations on sailing low. Well, you shouldn't just keep them low. You should just keep them open, I think, is the best way. How do you define skill? Shit, I don't know. How would you define skill? What's the best way to define skill? A core concept that will develop your character in the game progressively, I guess. That rewards you through combat, rewards you through skilling, gathering, rewards you to make your character a better player, your experience better for the player and the character, and it needs to be rewarding as well, I think. Which basically sums up what they're trying to do with sailing. Calling the skill is purely a marketing ploy, nothing more. They'll throw ads everywhere. I don't know exactly. I don't know. I know you don't like it, Steamed Hams, but I think this is, again, just an example. But I think it's just, the key is to remain somewhat open-minded and see what they have to offer. But I think from the last 2 videos, I think they're heading in the right direction, but I don't know how I'm going to vote still. I really don't. I am up in the air still. When are you doing Rate My Stats again? Oh, not for a while. I'll probably wait to the subathon. What's the point in adding a skill if it doesn't expand the game substantially? I think that's fair. The thing is, right, you can expand the game without a skill, right? But can you expand the game, but can you add a skill without expanding the game? That's the question. Does it need to be a skill? You're either going to have it as a skill or you're going to have it as a log, regardless, right? It's one or the other. It's a skill or it's a log. Does it really matter at the end of the day? I don't know. All the differences between those two, it's going to differ how you max it. Right? I'd imagine the log might be more customizable, but at the end of the day, whether it's a log or a skill, reaching the end goal, which is level 99 or green logging it, is going to just be, the way you achieve that is going to be different, that's all. Eventually you're going to have a meta, and you're going to do it that way anyway, aren't you? I doubt it's going to be a free-to-play skill. Assume not. Do you lose hardcore status if you die when DCing? Yes.
Will be on launching a full skill, while leaving plenty of room for growth in the future. The Old School team would also like to open the conversation about soft-locking certain points of interest, letting you access them by joining another player's ship, or buying new teleport jewelry from a player who's already unlocked that place, as opposed to
I think that's a bad idea. So what was the second bit he said?
Teleport jewelry from a player who's already... The Old School team would also like to open the conversation about soft-locking certain points of interest, letting you access them by joining another player's ship.
I think that's a bad idea, right? You should not soft-lock... Like, I get MMOs are meant to not be played solo. Well, this is RuneScape. You have Ironman game modes. And the reality is, the more you interact with players you don't know, the more likely you are to be scammed, lured, hacked. I'm all for player interaction. I'm also all for avoiding all players at all costs. And I think when you soft lock content like that, what you open up is the opportunity for a black market, especially if it is on the end game side of the spectrum, where people are going to start gatekeeping it, and you're going to have to start playing incompetent morons who think they know everything about the game, millions of GP to be able to get there. If it's early game softlock content, it would be completely pointless to softlock it. Look at Theatre of Blood, perfect example. The only flaw, in my opinion, with Theatre of Blood is that it was gate kept and soft locked to a 3-man team. Yes, you can duo Theatre of Blood. Yes, a few people have solo Theatre of Blood. The people that solo Theatre of Blood, you know why they solo Theatre of Blood? Because they need their egos checked. Okay, no one cares if you solo Theatre of Blood. It's not even a combat task. That's how irrelevant solo Theatre of Blooding is, okay? Soloing Theatre of Blood is. Duo Theatre of Blood is fun, challenging, but it's not the most efficient way to grind it, right? It's 3 to 5 people. That was the core concept. And while that makes the raid better, that also created a black market. It created a negative personality around the raid, a negative environment, and it created a black market. It creates people gatekeeping. That's why everyone knows TOA, everyone knows Cox, but I bet half of you people in the chat right now, half the people playing this game know fuck all about TOB. Don't know how to do TOB because no one will teach me. Or people are charging 3 mil an hour for lessons. There are no lessons. It's easy raid. The Theatre of Blood is so much easier than you realize. It is a simple raid. But it's soft locked. It was naturally soft locked. And I think that's a problem. I think that we should avoid soft locking at all costs because of the nature of the game and the nature of the people that play this game.
Or buying new teleport jewelry from a player who's already unlocked that place.
That's not too bad. If someone has unlocked the place, then you can buy it from them, but then how did they get the jewelry to begin with, right? So I think soft locking it's great in hindsight, but in practice, on paper it looks great, on tarmac, no. Most people that are good at the game is cringe as fuck. Yes, absolutely.
As opposed to hard-locking all of Sailing's content behind getting the requirements yourself.
Being hard-locked is totally fine.
It could offer a nice avenue of emergent gameplay that introduces new economic opportunities.
Yes, new economic opportunities, sure. Grand exchange, okay? This isn't going to increase socialization. This is just going to pile drive people on the black market, and it's just going to ruin things. Honestly, it creates a negative experience. And when you have 3 toxic morons teaching one person TOB, guess what? Now you have 4 toxic morons doing TOB because they're going to pick up everything these 3 put on them. You go to We Do Raids, you get picked up by 3 idiots who have become moderators because they're good at the game, but they're actually just narcissistic spastics. They pick up this guy, they bring him along, now they have 4 people. This 4th person is going to spread that, and it's like a plague. Just avoid it at all costs. You need to try solo entry TOB? Try it. It's good fun. Join my Discord if you want to learn TOB. People do it all the time. People do raids all the time on my Discord. Do it. Absolutely. The Inferno is the same thing. The Inferno is the same thing. It's soft locked by ego, and the difference is, yeah, it's solo content, but you pay other people to do it. It's the same thing because people think, oh, the Inferno cape. It's a fire cape ornament kit. That's all it is. Trust me, as someone who has 3 attempts in the Inferno and 3 KC, never died, it's not that important.
And promotes player interactivity for those less interested in training the skill. Before we move on to activity-specific rewards, let's quickly discuss what new resources you'll find both at points of interest and directly from sailing activities.
Now, someone mentioned earlier, I'd like to know, they might answer it in the video, but with your sales, how's that going to go? Do we get to draw whatever we want on our sales? Obviously, people are going to start drawing cocks. You're going to have wangs everywhere in the ocean, but is it going to be limited to a certain amount of images on the sails? I'd love to know this, because if I can have Goatsy on my sails sailing the Red Sea, that'd be excellent. Absolutely.
A reminder that it's still quite early to know all the final rewards and the specifics of what they do, as these tend to change frequently during full development. Rest assured that whatever makes it to release day will have been thoroughly discussed and voted through by the community. To break it down,
nothing will come to the game until it has been beta approved. Nothing will be beta tested until we have voted and it's been passed in the polls. So don't worry. If you don't like it, you don't have to vote on it, but I suggest you do just keep an open mind. Sorry, I'm rambling a lot.
Those include both internal rewards that progress the skill itself, and external rewards that affect other parts of the game. For sailing, such external rewards include precious gems like agate, garnet, and aquamarine.
Agate? How do you spell that?
For crafting new jewelry. Haddock, butang, and sunfish for use as hunter bait and as cookable food. And elkhorn, pillar,
can you make
and
Krabby Patties?
For new potions, ammunition, and armor. And for internal rewards, we have new wood types like larch, cedar, and rosewood for use in construction to upgrade your mast and hull and build various ship facilities.
Excellent.
New fibers like hemp and cotton to craft better sails, metals like lead and cobalt to build cannons and weighted dredging nets using smithing and crafting.
So you're sailing your sea, you're sailing your boat along the sea, and you just drag your net and you just pick up fish on the way. Free fishing XP. Why not?
This highlights how sailing doesn't just provide new items, but retroactively provides value to many of our current skills that have fallen into disuse or lost their profitability over time. It'll open up avenues for unique raw resources to exploit with gathering skills like fishing, mining, and farming, which can then lead to production skills finding greater purpose as well.
Right.
Smithing will see heavy use in creating cannons and cannonballs. Crafting will help with making stronger sails, trawler nets, and dredge nets.
But then you're going to have more jewels, right? More gems, which means more jewelry, which means more enhanced jewelry, which opens up a complete, like, let's say this isn't an example, and this is what gets voted into the game. This is going to, like, split the atom when it comes to things like crafting and smithing. The amount of, like, expansions on those skills alone for these resources is going to be massive. Let alone sailing just coming to the game. Like new ores and metals, new gems, new wood. How many more bows are you going to have now? How many more crossbows? I don't know if that's a bad thing, but shit. Like, they're going to have to go somewhere. You can't just have logs and then sit on the floor. What's that going to do? Hope this update comes with more bank space. Yeah, that'd be good. Would be great to have some higher level fish for post 87 to 99. Yeah, of course. Would be great to have some more high level fish. You legitimately did Inferno first try? Of course I did. Ask anyone in the chat 3 times in a row. Back to back to back.
And construction will be used to build your ship in most facilities, while simultaneously helping to sink many current items like logs, planks, and bars. For players who aren't too adept in these skills, ports will feature NPC ship building.
Notice how that was, notice how...
Bars. For players who aren't too adept in these skills...
Notice how it's some moron with Torva at TOA? Yeah, we all know a player like that.
Ports will feature NPC shipbuilders who can construct low to mid-level ships and facilities for you if you provide the raw materials. While many of these resources will be accessed at points of interest from having the right skill, quest, or facility requirements, some may only be available from specific sailing activities. So let's walk through some of the activities outlined in the core gameplay blog and discuss what they'll offer. Shipwreck salvaging will give a wide variety of current and new resources, including rarer salvage like armor pieces, gems, or legendary treasures. Port tasks will grant payment in the form of GP, exotic resources, and trade secrets from local dock workers for constructing better facilities like a larger cargo hold. Barracuda trials will feature milestone unlocks for beating the champion of each trial, like the schematics from Malco's Sail.
And does that give us better, like, are they the people that help you on the boat, these little heads?
For beating the champion of each trial, like the schematics from Malco's Sail, which removes the speed penalty for sailing against the wind. Charting the sea.
Oh, that's cool. So doing the speed races, the Barracuda challenges, I think it was called, can buff your boat like permanently across the like across the game, which I think is good. That's awesome. That's like a collection log sort of system that they would have there. So you can just do this challenge, unlock this buff. Now your boat's no longer dog shit. That's awesome.
Activity will primarily focus on cosmetic rewards, like a new POH style, for fully mapping each area. And naval combat will come with the broadest array of rewards depending on the monster you're killing, similar to traditional combat. Pirate ships will drop loot that can quickly be turned to gold, alongside higher weapon facility tiers, while sea monsters drop more natural resources, like hides, fangs, and scales for better ship upgrades, weapons, and armor. Turning to secondary activities, we have deep-sea trawling, which provides access to new fish types. Mineral dredging, which gives lead and cobalt ores alongside regular ores, with a rare chance for other valuable treasures. Sea monster hunting will focus on giving you new, powerful...
So I don't know about the mining and stuff, but I know the fishing, the new fish, I think is a good idea, because I also saw an idea on Twitter. I can't remember who proposed it. I think Hootie Tootie had a good design set up for Desert Treasure 2, and if they don't come through with Jagex, I think it's a cool idea to implement to like extra fish, right? Where you could overheal beyond 121 or whatever with certain items that you might get through fishing, and then the fish can help take your HP even further. Because we're at the moment, especially in a PvP state in this game, where it's all about one hit potential, right? Back 10 years ago, it used to be, you know, whoever safed the hardest would win the PvP fight. Now it's basically whoever's RNG rolls better on the AGS or the Void Waker gets the kill, right? And we're getting dangerously close to just one-hitting people who are over max health. Thank God that the new prayer book got dismissed. So I think being able to overheal beyond 122 actively might be something on the horizon that's going to happen soon. Whose tweet was a joke? Yes, but the ideas were still good, regardless, right? The concepts that he tweeted, you know what I'm talking about? We had 4 different things from 4 different bosses. They're good ideas still. They're good concepts. They were good ideas still, whether they were a joke or not. So if that sort of concept can be moved into the game, would be great. Why talk about sailing? Please do something else. Shut the fuck up.
Alongside named ship components, offering legendary drops to match the legendary status of the monster you hunt. And finally, coral farming gives access to coral jewelry for teleporting to ports and new islands, coral armor with special stat bonuses while at sea, and coral potions that boost
to upgrade that Brian Saber spec that we all know and love.
Your sailing level or increase the chance of hauling in rare dredging materials.
Rune crafting potion, +6.
Finally, let's quickly retread some of the progression schemes we discussed last time with ship customization.
Okay.
Ship upgrades are improvements to the integral parts of your vessel, including tiers of hull for better health and defense and the ability to pass over dangerous reefs, sails which increase your speed and can handle stormy zones, and rudders for increasing your boat's turning speed. Ship facilities, like cooking stations, salvaging hooks...
I just know, like, looking at this here, like the ship's turning speed, I just know early level sailing is going to be dog water, man. Like, if you need to upgrade the rate that your ship turns, I know that it just changes the turning circle, but I can just tell, like, it's going to be garbage, but you're not going to know it's garbage until you get to the end game. And then you start a new account, and you're going to realize how bad early game sailing is going to be. I don't mean bad as in terrible skill shooting in the game. I just mean bad as in, like, this is, you know, turning your boat is going to suck ass. But it's only something you'll appreciate once you get to the end. I guarantee it, man. Yeah, level 1 ship is a VN Commodore, 100%.
Increasing your boat's turning speed. Ship facilities, like cooking stations, salvaging hooks, and dredge nets, will also have their own upgrade tables. Let's use the cannon facility as an example of these.
Yeah, if you can fire blades out of a cannon, that'd be awesome.
Rams are the weapons of naval combat.
Yep.
They are short range but deal high damage, and come in 3 categories: regular ranged cannons, magic cannons, and dragonfire cannons. There will also be new smithable cannon balls from steel to dragon.
Also, I don't know if you guys caught that, but using a staff up here in the top left to light the cannon, maybe? So you different magic attack depending on what staff you're wielding. It's pretty badass. Cannonballs, I don't know what's going on here. He's kind of like hip thrusting the cannon. This one looks like a bit of a sniper cannon. I mean, that's pretty cool, the Dragonfire cannon. I like that.
Damage, and come in 3 categories: regular ranged cannons, magic cannons, and dragonfire cannons. There will also be new smithable cannonballs from steel to dragon, which will only be usable from your ship.
Aww.
Finally, NPC crewmates will be available to help manage ship facilities that you aren't attending to.
Slaves!
Some of these will be new faces recruited from port pubs, or after beating them in a trial, while others may be characters you're already familiar with and have completed a quest for. The final piece of reward space involves where your ship is at any given time.
Okay.
Your boat will normally remain where you last left it, whether you stored it at a port or teleported away from it while at sea. While each port will offer a ship retrieval service for quick access to your vessel, the magic skill also offers a few alternatives,
teleport to boat,
like teleport to ship, taking you to your vessel, teleport ship to me, which brings your ship to the nearest port, and ship in a bottle, an enchanted item which allows you to carry your boat in your inventory and transport it wherever you go.
I like shipping a bottle.
And with that, we're brought to the end of part 3 of the Sailing Developer blog. If you still have questions about Sailing's rewards, go check out the full blog in the description.
Do I have questions about Sailing
rewards? Be sure to join us
rewards?
next time in part 4, Lore and Integration, where we discuss how sailing will fit narratively into the world of Gillinor.
Lore and integration is, in my opinion, lore is completely irrelevant, but it's that's just my personal preference. I think it is important for the game. Rewards, shit. Right. The past 2 videos I've been really happy with watching. Been really happy with those. 333 to 338, King Condor gets some representation. Really? I missed that. 333 to 338?
The specifics of what they do, as these tend to change frequently during full development. Rest assured that whatever makes it to release day will have been thoroughly discussed and voted through.
You mean because they're wearing crowns?
Discussed and voted through by the community. To break it down, these tend to change frequently during full.
Is that what you mean?
development. Rest assured that whatever makes it to release...
Oh, wait, hold on. Yeah, hold on. I saw that. I saw it.
Quite early to know all the final rewards and the specifics of what they do, as these tend to change frequently during
the mole slippers
development. Rest assured that whatever makes it to release day will have been thoroughly...
Let me get close on that. I see that. I didn't see it. Right there. Look at that. Beautiful. We take those. Get a screenshot of that. It's nice. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you. Yeah, sorry about that. Back to the moral of the video. I think that the first two videos I watched, I came out of them really positive, really happy, looking at sailing in a much brighter light than I originally looked at sailing. Rewards, I'm a little mixed on rewards. I think I'm happy, but I just think I was expecting more. I think I was going into this expecting more rewards. I was expecting XP rates until I got to about the 8-minute mark, and then I realized they're not going to give us XP rates because that doesn't make any sense to give us XP rates right now. I'm glad they didn't mention anything to do with a raid because that's a cop-out. I am incredibly humbled by the KINGCONDOR shout-out right there. That is awesome. Good shit. Mole slippers. Yeah. Always happy to be a part of the work. Thank you, Jagex. I don't think there's any other way to do this skill. Cunts haven't shown you how to get an XP drop, let alone XP rates. They did in the previous video. They had XP drops through like underwater fishing, mining, and farming. XP rates through actually moving your boat, doing different races. Like I've got a video on my channel about it. I won't go through it now, but they showed how the core gameplay is going to be and how you can level up sailing and how other skills can help level sailing. They didn't give you exact details because it's hard to when there's been nothing voted in. It's just a rough guideline, right? Like this is a rough guideline. This turtle idea may never come to the game. This is just an example of what they can do. It could be, instead of turtles, it could just be, you know, it could be seagulls instead, you know? What they're showing, the question is what they're showing you, are you getting excited? I think excited, the Great Conch is a good name. I like the conch, the Great Conch. Excited, yes. I think I am excited. I'm excited to see what the poll what exactly the poll asks of us and what we can do about it. Like into how much detail do we go? Do we say, yes, we want new resources, then we vote on what sort of resources, or do they just fucking give us resources and say this is what you get? Because how much control do we need? Do we need every single fine detail of the skill? Or do we just need, yes, we want new fish, yes, we want new ores, yes, we want new woods and farming stuff, and then they add it and we just get what we're given? I don't think they'll do a bad job at that, but is that where we draw the line? Or do we say, yeah, we want new ores, but we only want ores that fit in this tier, that do this sort of content, that this color, this name, mined in this sort of area, affecting these items? Like, how far do we go? Because while this is great, this is going to open up a whole new set of metals. Does that mean a whole new set of armor, a whole new set of weapons? Do we have to rework smithing now? Is it going to sit between mithril and adamant? Is it going to be above rune? Can you only do it underwater? Does it only matter underwater? If it does, then what's the point? What can we do underwater? Who knows? Farming. What can we get out of farming that can benefit us that we don't already have? Farming is such a big skill. Same for fishing. So there's a lot of open-ended questions, I think, still with this skill. And I don't... If this was 5-10 years ago, I would be concerned. But I think the JMods have done such a good job with this game that I don't think we have to worry too much. Because if you're worried about them adding new things to the game that are going to be a problem, there is a lot that's going to be added here. Woods, boats, ores, you know, there's a lot. But if you're really super concerned about it, think about how they added Zenite jewelry. Think about how they've added Torva, Missouri. Think about how they've added Ancestral to the game, how they're adding these new gems already. They've added things to the game before, and I think they've worked out pretty well. Now, to be fair, the bosses they've added have been questionably unbalanced. Yes. Vorkar's drop table was ridiculous. It was dropping Crushed Nest for the good first like 3 years of its release. Zora was busted for a long time. The Phantom Muspar is a great example of how I'm pretty sure Jagex is just dropping new bosses with ridiculous drop tables to hype the boss fight up, I guess. I don't know why the Muspar's drop table is so broken, but here we are. But then the Nightmare is sitting there with no double roll on the drop table. So, like, I think for the most part, when they add content to the game, they do a very good job. And they don't overdo it unless it's a boss drop table by the looks of it. Have you tried out Forestry? Only loosely. Not enough to give a full opinion on it, but from what I've seen, it's very good. Nightmare is unrewarding. Nightmare just needs to have its drop table shifted to the Cowfight Queen style drop table, where you need a guarantee consumable and then a normal drop as well. 2 drops per kill. That'll fix the entire boss. Don't worry about that though. This is about sailing. I think I'm still on the fence. I think the rewards are good. They're very open-ended. They're very open-minded. This does just leave a lot more questions than it does a lot more comfort. Because we don't know what the new weapons are. We don't know what new jewelry means. We don't know what new ore means. We don't know what new wood means, right? We get it. It's for boats, right? Is it only for boats? I'd be okay with that. If they introduced new ores and it was strictly just for sailing, I would be fine with that. Because that means it doesn't jeopardize the rest of the game. But does that make the content irrelevant as soon as your boat has what it needs? As soon as you have the correct wood for the boat, are those trees now irrelevant? And then does that matter? What's more important? The new tree remaining relevant for the whole game? Or the new tree coming in until you have the best boat wood and then you don't touch the tree again? So, I don't know. Those are questions I think Jagex could look at asking. Or answering, sorry. Again, we won't know the answer to that until we vote on it, at least until it goes to beta. Repair the boat. If the boat takes damage, who knows? I'd assume you'd need the new wood for upgrades and upkeep. It depends on how upkeep goes. What if you do the agility Barracuda race and you win the race and then you don't have to upkeep your boat anymore? If upkeeping isn't too tedious, that'd be great. Then that's fine. But that's not a bad fix, to be honest. Upkeeping the boat might be the best way to go around it. Yeah. It's just, that's the question though. Does it remain? Do we keep it so it's just sailing, or do we branch out so that you can use new woods on new fletching? New woods for new farm making, who knows? Bot farm dream with this skill. The whole game is a bot farm dream. Plan on doing a Pirate Sea of Thieves fight, so it'll be upkeep. Sea of Thieves fighting is... Have you played Sea of Thieves? It doesn't sound like it. Yeah. I think the video was good. I just think there's a lot of open-ended questions. But yeah, for now, guys, we're going to wait until the 4th video. I'm still on the fence. I don't know what I'm going to vote yet, but when the vote comes out, I will do it live so you guys know what I'll think, and I'll upload it so you won't miss it. So sorry if this kind of left me in a bit of a... You know, I don't know where I'm going to go with this sailing skill, but I feel like I'm not the only one that's kind of left like that. Promising? I think promising is an acceptable word, yeah. You're not a fan, still wanted to see shamanism? Okay, but like, I need to... You wanted to see shamanism. Fuck shamanism. So did I. I voted for shamanism taming before sailing, but you need to stop worrying about shamanism. Forget about shamanism, forget about taming. For those that are like, well, what about shamanism? I didn't vote for it. That's not part of a question anymore. We're not voting on shamanism. We're not looking at shamanism. This is sailing. Forget the other skills existed. We can worry about them later. If you vote no for this skill, that doesn't mean shamanism is going to come next. So don't vote no because you didn't want sailing, because you wanted something else. Vote for sailing depending on sailing if you like sailing. Look at it as the skill itself, not what you wanted for a different... on a different poll for a different skill. Of the skill types they polled, which one is sailing... combat, gathering, utility, or production? I think sailing came under... I don't know what sailing came under. I don't know. I would say probably gathering, utility, all 4 really. It probably comes under all 4 if you wanted to categorize it. It depends on what you do during sailing, right? From their pitch, it's all of them. Yeah, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. Do you? I don't know. Maybe. Will we add those other skills later or sailing, you think? They would. This is not going to be the only skill polled for RuneScape. If this gets added to the game, it won't be the only skill they add. Like like shamanism and any other skills that we don't even know yet will have a chance in the future. They will always be open to more skills. This is just the process of a new skill. This is how new skill progress is going to work. And if this is successful, if the skill makes it to the game or not, doesn't matter. But if the process for a new skill is successful for sailing, then they'll use it again for a new skill. People need to understand that getting sailing doesn't mean you're losing shamanism. No, you're not losing shamanism. Exactly right. Seems weird to poll that, but then have one of the 3 skills cover all the topics. It was a popular topic. And if they can make it work, I don't think it's bad. At the end of the day, if they make it work and it doesn't break the game, and I don't think it will, I think a raid has just as much potential to break RuneScape as a skill does. If they balance it right, and that's the main thing. As long as it's balanced, and it feels good, and it's fun, and you get good XP rates, then shit. At the end of the day, there is worse things in the game that we would rather not do, right? At the end of the day, there are worse things in the game than the idea of sailing. Again, I want to see we'll see the last video and see where that goes, and then I'll kind of come up with a better full circle verdict. Mining does suck, yes. Motherlode Mine is a bit cringe. But for now, I think it's looking good. It's looking positive for someone who wanted shamanism and taming over this. GE tax should be your bane of hate. GE tax is good for the game. They should have had a GE tax a long time ago. In fact, they should have had a listing fee, not a tax. If you don't like the GE tax, then, well, you don't think about the game's longevity properly. You're way too focused on your own money. Are they going to readjust the high scores based on new skill? Yes, there'll be a legacy high scores. But yeah, that's sailing rewards, guys, for now. Bit of a ramble, I do apologize, but if you want to discuss it any further, you can comment on the video that's uploaded to the channel down below. And yeah, I'm happy to discuss it more, and I'm open to more opinions and more discussions on it. Looking forward to the next one. This is the easiest room in the raid. It's quite simple. You got a big boy. Look at him, goddamn! Fuck me, look at that boy. It's huge! What a big boy.